Hello. Rat. Avatar tanker. And I'm gonna make one of these because someone asked me for a tutorial and I have literally nothing else to post. So yep. A short tanker tutorial. There are gonna be like some things you need, like I have here a rotary tool. Now you don't need a rotary tool, just some way to cut the tanker. But I mean, this is the best thing that I've found. All right, is that no? That's our setup. This is just like the best way I've found to cut the tanker. It's quick, it's clean, and it's easy. Forget the last part I said about it being easy, or not easy, but clean, because it is not clean at all here. There is yellow all over my desk. It's just fucking everywhere. But, excuse my French, but you can also use a saw. I did use this for a couple parts of the tanker. And it would also just be very helpful to have one of these. This is my preferred style of saw because it keeps the blade as straight as possible, not something like my old saw, which is just like a handle and then it had like a long blade. There was nothing correcting it, like holding it straight. This still isn't perfect though. As you can see, it's kind of bent. So if you're cutting stuff like this, it's really easy. It's a lot easier to cut like thin pieces of plastic with a rotary tool than it is with a saw. I've cut many things. I've made so many customs with this, and it is usually a very uneven cut, which is why it's helpful to have stuff like milliput, which I have over there, but I'm not gonna grab it because I don't feel like it. So I guess I'll just, oh yeah, you're also gonna need a screwdriver, some super glue. My preferred brand is Gorilla Glue. It's very good, but you also have to be very quick when you're putting stuff into place. Make sure it's all even and straight, and have a lot of planning and preparation before you glue something, because if you mess it up, then it's hard to undo. Let's see, is there anything else? I mean, I guess you need a screwdriver, but that's kind of obvious. Oh, and let me just, yeah, I also use this wheels from one of these guys. I'm not looking at what I'm doing right now. Oh, and I like to put weights in the bottom as well, just to make the tanker stay down a little. Sorry for this long fucking monologue. I guess I'll just get into it. So the first thing I'll do here is just take the tanker apart. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to hold this cap down on the top because it spins around the way that the tanker is designed. These wheels, I just discard these. I used them on another piece of small rolling stock here, which is pretty fun. I replaced the axles with cake pop sticks, and on the ends I put pieces of hole punched credit card as caps, just to make sure the wheels didn't fall off. And I also shortened the coupling. That's another thing I'm going to get into later. So when taking the tanker apart, it will probably look a little dirty. Clean it. Just clean it. You don't want any dirt or gunk in the tanker when you're gluing stuff, because it can make the glue not stick as well. Just clean it. Just be clean. It's not that hard. I just get like just wipe it off. It's not that hard. You don't have to like rinse it, wash it with soap or anything. It's pretty simple. Oh, you're also gonna, I don't plan on using these couplings. I don't use these. I prefer to use either All Engines Go couplings, like All Engines Go push along ones, or the 1/80th ones, just because they're shorter and makes the connection between pieces of rolling stock shorter, unlike how it usually is, which is just super far apart. Good for playing with like toys and stuff, but not good for looks. In this piece, you can just discard too. I have another one right here. Just set them to the side. I have my wet wipe here. I just wiped off the tanker and the chassis. I like using wet wipes. Just, I mean, you know, they're for literal infants, but like, it just gets stuff off really well and clean stuff well at the same time. It's just good to use, I guess. And this is a work shirt, as you can probably tell. So now I'm just gonna, you know, already just gonna get to the cutting. It's not too hard, nothing too difficult, I guess. I just want to, I'm gonna grab a Sharpie and my other tanker, because this fuel tanker, on the bottom, not these, but there was some like sticking up sprue, not even sprue, this is like these marks that I used, and that's just what I based my cut off of. Usually when I'm cutting something, or, you know, even doing lining, I just like to have something to parallel, something to base it off of. So let's pull up Thomas here for an example. If I had painted this line, then I would use the edge of the tank here as a reference to try and make it as straight as possible, and just keep the whole line the same distance away from the edge of the tank as possible. And that's usually how I get my lines so straight. I also paint with toothpicks. So I'm going to use this tanker as a reference to cut. This isn't the final paint job. I'm going to be repainting this eventually. So I might not even have like a fuel tanker and I'm done. These are for a specific project. I won't tell you what, but you'll find out eventually. But yeah, I'll just use Sharpie as reference. Actually, since I am like lazy and I hate measuring stuff, I usually just eyeball everything. That's another reason why I base all of my cuts and painting, lining and stuff off of something to try and parallel it. It just makes it a lot easier for me. You can just cut it whatever length you want, I think. I'll throw, actually I'll give you some measurements of this right now. So the main tanker body, the yellow part, from like this border, this little base, is about 2.5 inches, like exactly, actually. Let me try and get that up there for you. Yep, just right about there. And then the chassis, the running board kind of piece, is like almost, it's just a little longer. Right around there. And there's just the edges. I didn't make it completely flush on both sides with this yellow base and the end of the full plate, but it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, I think it still looks a lot better. Very large improvement. There's just a small, minute detail. Anyway, I'm going to, before I actually cut this part, I'm going to cut off the ends, and how I'm going to do that is, I'm just like a screwdriver as a representation. I'm going to cut it along this band, along the inside. You'll see in just a second when I cut it though. So when using a rotary tool, you'll always want to wear protection. So like I have these that I usually like to wear over my eyes to protect them. And then I also, these I also use when I'm spray painting stuff, because that's super bad for you. If you're building like a kit, you have to super glue a ton of things, then where you need something like kind of like this to protect, like just don't inhale any of that. Basically, a normal like disposable mask would probably work too, but I just like this heavy duty one because I'm doing it a lot. And then yeah, this is just to make sure nothing gets in your eyes. That would be very bad. There's always tiny little shards of plastic flying everywhere when you're cutting stuff. So it is just good to have these. And this as well if you want to protect your face and you don't want to breathe in any sort of plastic dust. I'm not going to be wearing this though because it will probably make it a little harder for me to cut. And I'm not really at risk while, like, of anything while I have nothing on my mouth, so I'll just start cutting. So as you can see, I have one end of this tanker separated now, and there's a lot of sprue which you're gonna have to clean off. Just kind of scrape that off. You can just scrape it off with your fingernail and just get that all off there. But yeah, this on tar tankers and fuel tankers, I've noticed it's a little different. Fuel tankers just kind of fall apart. These tar tankers, I'd pull this off a little. So yeah, it just kind of falls apart like that. I'll glue it back together once I have the other half ready. So I'll just get into cutting this and probably do it off camera because you already saw what one side looks like. Okay, I have both sides of this now and they're ready to be glued almost. I'm just going to, just peel off some of that extra sprue, I guess. I don't know really what to call it, just like the stuff that came off. I'm gonna pull this apart because it's only held by those 1, 2. There's like just 2 contact points, I guess. And it would be better if it was just super glued together. So I am going to glue these. Let's see here. So my super glue is all of the lids and caps have gotten glued together. So I just use a toothpick like a dipstick, and as you can see, I just get some glue on it, and have to spread it. Actually, it was a little much. Just scrape that off. Now I can also add a little bit of glue to these pegs right here because they kind of make contact, which is just gonna, just to add a little more security, I guess, so that they don't come apart as easily. Yeah, it's really pretty simple. Just do that, glue them together, and boom, you gotta tanker. Make sure that it's like perfectly even all around and no pieces are uneven, I guess. Make sure that it's perfectly straight, and on the bottom it's flat as well, just to ensure that it can be glued to the chassis flat and just like perfectly. And boom, yeah, there you go. You got one side done, one side to go. It's really a very simple process, this part. All right, sorry, I keep running out of storage, and now my camera keeps falling over because I'm leaning this up on a paint bottle. Anyway, so essentially to guide my cut, I started yapping about wooden rower reviewers in my last take of this, but so essentially I just lined the sides of this with masking tape to guide my cut when I just cut around the edges, just to make a clean, nicer cut, which I will do right now. So, okay, so as you can probably tell, I just cutting, and actually something's felt like off this entire time. I actually put the tape on the other side. That doesn't matter at all. I don't know why I even mentioned that, but you can see the sides haven't fallen off yet, and that's because of this bit in the middle. Yeah, just throw my saw in there and just cut it off. It's just pretty simple, pretty easy. So, yeah. So here I got the two sides that I just cut off. Set them over here with my other ones from the yellow tanker I made, just because I don't need them. I'm a hoarder, so I don't want to throw them away. I should probably throw them away though, because I have nothing to do with them. I have this middle piece, which the cut is not like perfect. It is pretty nice, but just to ensure it, I'll just sand it down a little, just to try and make it as smooth as possible. And you see that is like perfect. So just do that to both sides. Got a perfect tanker. Yeah, that is nice. And now if it is a little messed up on the bottom, that doesn't matter because you won't be able to see that even. But this should be perfect. And I'm just gonna dump this in the trash can. I'll get back to it. So something you might notice is these sides aren't even. So I'll just give them the same treatment and sand them down a little. And on the bottom, now this is probably one of, if not my number one recommended tool for modeling, a flat-edged cutting pliers. These basically so that you can cut. Alright, so what I was just about to say before my fucking stupid storage thing happened again is that I basically use these to cut flush. They are extremely useful. I think I got these at Walmart. Yeah, like actually just Walmart. I use them all the time. I actually had another pair that I got from, I just went into settings and just like deleted a bunch of my really long attachments. Hopefully that fixed it. Shit, I hang pants over the back of my chair. Anyway, just, I think I got another pair from like Walmart or whatever, or Amazon. Just cut this flush, sand it on the bottom and the sides. Same thing with this, sand it on the bottom and the sides. I already sanded it on the sides though. To make sure that it will sit smoothly on this chassis and that it will sit smoothly everywhere else. Just do that. Okay. Okay, so I went ahead and glued the tanker together after getting it ready, just prepping it, and now I have this uncut chassis, which looks really weird. Now, this is actually just like a tad longer than my other tanker, but who's really counting? So I got this tanker ready, and I got the chassis ready, and first thing I'm gonna do is, when I'm cutting down the chassis is, so last time, yeah, what I went off of was just, almost like the best, just the beautiful tanker. I cut based on this axle box. So I just cut unevenly, outward, because it doesn't really matter, along this axle box, these axle boxes, so that it would be even basically. And then I sanded it flush to the axle boxes, as you can see. So that is what I will do now. Yeah, so when I come back, I'll have this cut. I'll just use my, actually, I'll use my saw because that's what I used last time. I'll have this cut into 3 separate pieces, and I'll shorten this main piece. Okay, so as you can see, I have the two halves of the chassis here, two sides of it. So it was like insanely short. But I have these two sides and I need to extend them out a little more using this middle piece. So what I'm gonna do is sand this side smooth, and then I'm going to just look in here. I usually like to have these two frames, these sticking down here, these two flush with with the let's try and get in the light there. Flush with that buffer beam. I just think that's the best way to go. So I'll just see, and I'll probably cut off a little more than I need, and then end up sanding off the excess. But that is around how much I'm going to need to take off from this. So I'll come back when I finish cutting this. Okay, so I just got this piece cut and sanded and ready to glue. The only thing I need to do now is cut off these, I don't know what these are, like lamp irons or something, and then this guide sort of thing, just to make it perfectly smooth across the top of these two. So once I do that, I'll glue these and I'll come back. So I have the tanker body here and the chassis, or the chassis running board, I guess. And there's one more thing that the tanker's missing, which is the crap, what is this called? The cap, the filler cap, not the filler cap, but like, I don't know what this is supposed to be called. Anyway, I'm just going to, what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my storage is that I'm just gonna cut off this end piece and make it flush and smooth. Here's the cut piece. This is ready to be glued now, so, and this is ready to be glued together just as well. Once this is glued together, it's kind of hard, but you can still get like a one of these couplings in there. I don't know if you'd be able to get a Tommy coupling in there after that, but I don't know. That doesn't matter though, because I don't plan on using Tommy couplings. So I guess I'll just glue these together now, make it one solid piece. Always make sure you know what you're gluing and that it's going to fit right before you do actually glue it, because I have made the mistake of gluing things too quickly before and just ruined stuff, and it is extremely hard to correct. So I'll just get my dipstick and my super glue. All right, beautiful. I just spread that all across the bottom like that. It's not too complicated. And yeah, this at this point it's pretty much over. The last step after this is just gonna be the wheels. There is a little bit with the wheels that you have to know before attempting them, but once this is glued, I'll have some wheels ready and I'll get back. Okay, I gotta finish this video quick before my storage runs out again. So these are the 80th anniversary push along wheels. I got these from the Annie and Clarabelle in the set. So if you look on the inside there's this lip. Yeah, that I'm rubbing up against with this side rod right now. You're just gonna want to cut that off. Let me show you what it'll look like real quick. And this is another thing that this type of pliers will help with. Just cut that off. It won't really. Yay! It works now. Yay!
It works. Look at that.
Also add weight for better performance.